Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our science class for today, which is still about Unit 5, Home Electricity. We are going to study today about the different power stations. When you say power stations, it's where we get electricity. It's the factory of electricity. All right, let us start with the vocabulary words for today. Number one is, the first one is station. Can you repeat that? Station. All right. I'm not sure if this is the Thai meaning of station.
Hand,
There's another word for station, right, in Thai. What is it in Thai?
โรงงาน
Like for example, bus station. When you say bus station, it's where you stop to ride the bus. It's where the bus stops to get you, or so that where you can ride the bus. Or for example, when you ride a train, the train will say next station is, it means the next stop, the next place where you stop. Next is machine. Can you repeat that? Machine.
machine
Machine. You can turn on your microphone. Machine. In Thai,
machine เครื่องจักร
machines are the things that people use in what?
กิ่ง
Making something. Alright? For example, big machines. Where do you usually see big machines? In power stations, in factories, right? Factories use big machines to make products. How about small machines? Even in our homes, we have small machines. Like for example, inside your fan has a machine. That's how your fan works because of the machine, right? There are machines everywhere. Next is materials. Can you repeat that?
material
Materials means,
วัสดุ
okay, when you say materials, these are the things that we use to make something. For example, materials in building a house. What do we use to make a house, to build a house? Or materials in making a bag. What do you use to make a bag? No? But for cooking, you don't say materials, you say ingredients. Like what are the ingredients of in making a cake, in baking a cake, right? That's what you say, ingredients. But for materials, these are the things that we do not eat, they are not food, but we use them in building or making something. All right, next, let us go to our topic for today, which is about power stations. Power stations, all right? Now, there are many kinds of power stations because there are also many things that we can use to make electricity. Like for example, we can use the sun, the heat from the sun, the light from the sun in producing electricity. What else can we use? We can use water to produce electricity. Yes, we can use coal, coal, like charcoal coal, the black one, the one that you use for barbecue, Yes, but I will show you the coal later. Okay? It means there are many things, there are many materials that we can use in producing electricity. So we have also many kinds of power stations that use these materials. Later, I will show you 3 power stations, and then on our next meeting, on our next science class, we will have more, okay, kinds of power stations. We usually get electricity from the mains by plugging the device into the socket. When we use the mains, we have to plug the device into the socket, right? To get electricity. Now, where does the electricity from the socket come from? Come from the mains, which is from the wires, right? But where does it start? From power station, yes. The electricity from the mains comes from the power stations. Sometimes people call power stations as power plant. Okay? They're the same. Sometimes they say power station, sometimes they say power plant. Alright? They're the same. Now, let me show you how a power station works with our drawing first. Remember, for example, this one is the power station. It looks like a volcano and then like this, right? For example, this is a power station. This is number 1, step 1. The teacher did not say write anything yet. Put it down. Next, from the power station, it goes to the wires. And then, you will see big transformers. Do you know transformer? Not the robot, okay? Big transformer, the square ones for electricity. That is step 2. And then from the transformers, they go to the power lines. These are called power lines. The big ones, right? This is number 3. Now, from the big power lines, there will be small power lines after that. These are the power lines that you see outside the street, outside your home. This one, the small power line, that is number 4. And then it reaches your home. Alright? Again, it starts with the power station and then transformers, power lines, small power lines, and then your home. Alright? I've showed you that already, right? Oh no, what happened to the girl? Okay, let me erase first. Okay, now what's the question of the girl? The girl says, what are the different kinds of power stations? Let us have 3 kinds of power stations. First, let me show you
A variety of
many
ways in which
kinds of
electricity is
power
generated or
stations.
made. How many can you think of? Some are shown in this image.
These, you will see them.
Solar panels, wind turbines,
Biomass,
hydroelectric,
hydroelectric, nuclear,
and fossil fuels.
fossil fuels. And then there's
And then there is also
geothermal.
geothermal energy,
And then using water, we have
tidal power,
tidal power
and wave power as
and
well.
wave power. Okay, let me show you how it's done. Okay, there are many kinds of power stations. We have the solar panel. Solar panels use what? That rain. It's the sun. Okay, the sun. Solar means sun, right? And then there's the wind turbine. Now, for the wind turbine, sometimes people say turbine or turbine. Okay, same. Now, for example, wind turbines, they use wind. Now, there's biomass, hydroelectric, nuclear, fossil fuels, many kinds. Now, some other power stations using water is this one, tidal power or wave power. They both use water. For tidal power, do you see this? This one is called a propeller, like in a boat, right? Now, it will spin just like a wind turbine. But this one uses water, uses the wave in the sea. No? And then, for the wave power, you have this one. Do you see it? It's like a big circle, big circle, like a big half ball. And then, because the wave or the water in the sea always flow, it always moves, right? Because of the wind. When, who's that? When the wind bumps on the machine, the wind bumps, it will move. Or the wind bumps, it will move. The wave bumps, it will move. Okay, that's how it forms electricity. When it moves, it will form electricity. Okay, now let me show you the first kind of power station or power plant. We have here the geothermal power plant. Geothermal power plant uses heat from under the soil, under the ground. It uses heat from under the soil. Let me show you. Okay, can you see? Those who are at home, can you see? Can you see? Answer, Teacher Danica, can you see the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Geothermal energy, and we can use it to generate clean, renewable electricity. Okay, here's how geothermal works. Heat from the Earth's crust warms water that is seeped into underground reservoirs. In some places, when water becomes hot enough, it can break through the Earth's surface as steam or hot water.
It means what? The heat under the soil, down there, it is very hot. Okay? When you dig very deep under the soil, you will see rocks. And then under those rocks, it's very hot. So geothermal energy uses the heat. Who's singing? Geothermal energy uses the heat from under the soil to make electricity.
This usually happens where the Earth's crust, or plates, meet and shift. In the past, taking advantage of geothermal energy was limited to areas where hot water flowed near the surface. But as geothermal technologies advance, we can leverage even more of these natural, renewable energy sources. Engineers have developed a few different ways to produce power from geothermal wells drilled into the ground. Have a look at this. It's a dry steam geothermal power plant, and it's the most common type of geothermal technology used today. Underground steam flows directly to a turbine to drive a generator that produces electricity. Pretty straightforward. Another geothermal technology is called a flash steam power plant. A pump pushes hot...
When you say steam, what is steam? It's like gas coming from hot liquid. Like for example, when you cook, okay, when you cook and then you cook noodles, okay, and then the water becomes hot, the water boils. And then you see smoke. That is steam, the gas coming from the liquid, from the hot water.
Fluid into a tank at the surface, where it cools. As it cools, the fluid flashes, or quickly turns into vapor. The vapor then drives a turbine and powers a generator. A binary cycle plant works differently. It uses two types of fluid. Hot fluid from underground heats a second fluid, called a heat transfer fluid, in a giant heat exchanger. The second fluid has a much lower boiling point than the first fluid, and so it flashes into vapor at a lower temperature. When the second fluid flashes, it spins a turbine that drives a generator.
This is the turbine or turbine. Okay, it spins around. When it spins, it makes electricity. All the power stations use turbines or turbine. Okay, they spin and they make electricity.
Generator.
Okay. Now that is geothermal power plant or power station. Can you describe how does a geothermal power plant works? It works when what? Using what? Yes, it spins, the turbine spins because of how? How does it make electricity? Using what? Using turbines that can move because of the heat. Heat from where? From the Soil, under the soil, under the ground. Okay, next we have another one which is the nuclear power plant. Do you know nuclear? Nuclear. Yes, this one is nuclear power plant.
The nuclear power plant consists of numerous buildings and facilities, the most important of which are as follows. This is the containment building, where the nuclear reactors are housed. It is made of 2 meters thick.
The nuclear power plant looks like a volcano. But there's one more power plant that looks like this also. They look the same.
Reinforced concrete. Inside the containment building, a large tank called calandria, which is the heart of the nuclear reactors. This is the turbine generator building. It houses the turbine and generator. This is the controlling building, for monitor and control the nuclear reactors. The fuel is naturally occurring uranium. That process into small pellets. Then the pellet are sealed into metal tubes, which are welded to form a fuel bundle. The fuel bundles are then inserted in a large tank called calandria, which is the heart of the nuclear reactor. Typically more than 200 of these rods are bundled together to form a fuel assembly. A reactor core is typically made up of a couple of hundred assemblies. In order to allow nuclear fission to proceed in a controlled manner, a control rod exists. The control rod can be moved up and down to control the fission rate of uranium. The nuclear power plant produces electricity using the heat that comes from splitting uranium atoms in a...
Do you know uranium? Uranium is like a metal. It's like a metal. I will show you. Uranium. This one is a uranium. It looks like a metal. Okay, it looks like a stone. It can be a powder. They turn it into powder. Now they use uranium. Nuclear power plant uses uranium to form electricity. They what do you call that? They fuse. It means from one atom. Atom is like the chemical inside. It's the atom inside, the part of the. For example, you have atoms inside your body that makes you. Okay, you have many atoms, and then put together that is you, the body. Okay. Now for this one, uranium has atoms also inside, chemicals inside, and then for nuclear power plant, you have one atom. They split. It's like they copy. From one, it becomes two, and then can have more. Like a virus when they multiply one germs, one bacteria becomes many. Same with this one. They use uranium. Okay, they multiply, they fuse. It's called nuclear fission. And then when they do this, it's like when they copy, it forms heat also. Now the heat produces electricity. Alright, it's also the heat. It means heat is also important for nuclear power stations.
Process called nuclear fission. Nuclear fission is a nuclear radioactive decay process in which the hitting neutrons on the uranium atoms, then the uranium atoms split into two, and it releases 3 neutrons. Each process releases 2 uranium atoms and 3 neutrons. A chain reaction of atom splitting, and ensure that there is a constant source of heat, meaning that it generates lots of heat. This heat is used to convert electricity.
See, it means heat is also important for nuclear power station. Same with geothermal. Next, we have one last power station for today. We have the coal power. Do you know what is a coal? Coal is like this. It's a black one, coal. Like this. Do you know the coal like this that you use for your barbecue? When you cook barbecue? Yes. Now this one, for the coal power station, The coal that you use for your food, for cooking, barbecue, that one is only from trees, from wood. They burn the wood to make coal, okay? But for the power station, the coal-fired power station, they get the coal from under the soil. Like when they dig diamonds, when they dig gold, okay? Same with coal. They also get from under the soil.
This is a simple generator. When I turn these coils of wire that are surrounded by these magnets, electricity is produced.
That one is
This
an
is another
example
much
to
smaller
make
generator.
electricity.
When I turn it, you can see from the voltmeter that it produces electricity. If I connect some LEDs to it, the LEDs light up when I spin the generator. In coal-fired power stations, like this one, have been the #1 source of electricity in the world. So how do they work? Firstly, the coal is dug up by huge excavators.
They get
This one's
from the
called a
soil.
bucket wheel excavator. It's about 200 metres long, but most aren't quite this big. The coal is then carried by conveyor belts into the power station, and it's fed into huge boilers many stories high, where it is set on fire. The water in the boiler boils and turns to steam. The steam is forced up through pipes into huge turbines. The turbines are kind of like windmills, and they spin as the steam pushes on them. This is what the turbines look like.
That's a turbine. That's how big. Nadig. That's how big the turbine is. Big. Yes, it spins to make electricity. Now for the coal-powered station, how does it work? They put coal under the soil, under the machine, okay, or under the pot. It looks like a pot. It's like cooking. No? They put coal here at the bottom, and then they use fire. They make fire from the coal, and then singing. They put water here on top, and it's like they boil the water, okay? They boil it. So when you say boil, you make the water very, very, very hot. So while boiling, it will form steam or gas, right? The gas that you see from boiling water. Now the steam will go here, pass through here. It will make the turbine move. It will make the turbine spin and will make electricity. That's how it works. It's like cooking, and then you use the gas for making
The
electricity.
steam pushes on them. This is what the turbines look like. They're normally enclosed, but here they are undergoing maintenance. Each turbine is connected to a generator so that as the turbine spins, the generator spins as well. As we've seen, electricity is produced when any generator is made to spin. The hot steam is then cooled down in the condenser so that it condenses.
That's why you see this one is a coal-fired power station. It looks like a volcano, right? It has smoke coming out, right? It has smoke. It's because of the boiling water. Because of the water. It's like when you
And then the
cook.
water is pumped back into the boiler so that the cycle can repeat. The condenser is kept cool by cool water that is pumped into it either from a nearby river or lake or from what are called cooling towers. The white clouds that are often seen above cooling towers are made of water that has evaporated in the cooling process.
Okay. Now let us have our first activity, which is the word wall activity. All right. Okay. Now, can you see our word wall activity? Those who are at home, can you
Yes.
see?
Yeah.
Okay. You are going to guess the picture. Okay. Tell me if you know already. Tell me the answer if you know already. So I will press this and we can answer. What is this? It looks like a cloud.
Nokia.
What do you think?
Nokia.
Are you
Nokia.
sure?
I'm sure.
Let's see. It's a what? Volcano, mountain, or power station? Power station. Yes. Next. There's the power station. Next is number 2. What is this? What do you think is that? There's white, there's black. What do you think? What's it? What is it?
I
Yes.
know.
Say use if you know, say the answer, okay? If I hear the answer, I will press.
Ba.
It's a
Ba.
flag. Yes. Next, number 3. What is this? White, white, white.
เห็นแต่สีขาว
What is it?
อะไรอ่ะช็อกโกเขาจำได้แล้ว
Yes, I hear the answer already.
หัวชาร์จอะ
Yes, I hear the answer. It's a socket. Correct.
ก็ตอบอยู่นะฮะ
Next, number 4. What is this? It's a little bit long.
อะไรอ่ะเฮ้ย
There are many colors.
หลายอ่ะ
What is it?
Yes.
Yes, Satinov said the answer. These are what? Paint brushes, sticks, or wires? Wires. Electric wires. Yes, electric wire. The last one we have. What is this? What do you think is that?
อันนี้เป็นรูปคนโดนช็อต
What is it in English?
มันเป็นคนโดนช็อตมันมีภาษาอังกฤษอ่ะ
Huh?
ภาษาอังกฤษก็ลืมแต่รู้
What's the answer? In English?
ไอ้
Electric? I will press. Party? Electric shock? Or dance?
เป็นของที่ชา
Party or dance? Dance party with electricity? Okay. Now let me send you this link. You try to do it fast and you check if you can beat the leaderboard. There's the link. There's the link. You can try and do it. Is it working? Then after this one, we will have a quizzes. Yay. Are you doing it? Finish?
Teacher finished.
Finish?
Yes.
Were you in the leaderboard? Did you try? Did you see? Did you check? Finish? Tell me so we can do our quizzes. Finish? Ready? For the quizzes, let us review first the questions before I send the link. Alright? Now, the first question is, humans get energy from food. Machines get energy from electricity. True or false? True. The green one is the correct answer. True. Next, Tanadon, what are you doing? Next, electricity is energy. True or false? True. Next, turn off your sounds. Which of these things need electricity? The fan. Correct. Which of these things do not need electricity?
Tree.
The plant, right? Yes. What is this called? Power plant or power station. What are these called? Power lines. Correct. Power lines. How about this one? Transformer station. How about, what is this called? The small one outside your house? Smaller power lines. And then, which of the following is the correct order of how we get electricity? The correct steps? Step 1, step 2 before it reaches your house. It is 1. Power plant, transformer station, power lines, smaller power lines, and our homes. Okay, let's start. I will send you the link. Write your name in English. Wait. Okay, there's the link. Join now, join. Join. Only 13 students. Join now, join. Students. Who else? Ready? 1 minute. I will start. I will click now. Okay, I will start now. Join now, join. Who else? 1 minute and then I will start. How many seconds is 1 minute? Yes. No more. Faster. I will check the names. Okay, I think we will start now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Are you answering? Kita, wait. Sujitra, you answer. Winipa is finished already. All correct answers. I will end it soon. Okay, we have Lina, Sasinov, and Rawinipa. I think yesterday Rawinipa and Sasinov were in number 1 and number 2, number 3 also, no? Good job. Rawinipa, Sasinov got all correct answers. See that? Okay, it's okay if you did not win. It's okay, don't worry. All right, now let us move on to our live worksheet for today. Those who are at home, can you see the live worksheet? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. For the live worksheet, don't forget to write your name, grade, and number. We have part 1 and part 2. For part 1, you drag these words into the lines. We have, but how do you read the first one? Power station, the mains, power plant, electricity, and wires. Number 1, blank is the energy which gives power to devices. Electricity is the energy which gives power to devices. Number 2, blank is a factory where electricity is produced. Power station. 3, blank is another name for power station. Power plant. Electricity from the power station comes in the main. Electricity travels through wires. Right. For part 2, it's very easy. Just connect the picture to the word. What do you call the first one? Plug. Number 2 is socket. Number 3 is wire. And then click finish. Check my answers. And take a picture later. There's the link.